Let's get dangerous, but do it safely. Hey everybody, Jim Cummings here. Welcome to my podcast, Toon'd In with Jim Cummings. We have a great guest for you today, but before we get to that, make sure you like and subscribe. Our podcast has partnered with the largest Comic-Con in North America, Fan Expo, the Juggernaut. We're touring all over North America live, so get your tickets and come be a part of the live audience. It'll be fun. Go to fanexpohq.com for the tickets. We'll see you in a city near you, or a little bit away, but you can drive. And with all that said and done, sit back and enjoy today's episode. And as always, thanks for tuning in to Toon'd In with Jim Cummings. They always say, well, what is your favorite character? And the problem is, it's a good problem, but I've got a few, So Pooh and Tigger, if I've said this before, forgive me, but they're way up there. And then, I go kind of from there right to Darkwing. And, Taz is in there, Hondo Ohnaka from Star Wars, Clone Wars, and Rey from Princess and the Frog. So I've got like 5 or 6, top dogs there, but there's no doubt about it. I mean, Darkwing is.
What is it about?
He
Darkwing?
is the terror that flaps in the night. Yeah.
What is it about him that makes him one of your favorite characters?
Well, he's the. I'm either sorry or happy to say he's the most like me. He's very sarcastic. He's a Weisenheimer. He's not the biggest guy in the world, but he could talk the biggest guy in the world. And he was just an enormous amount of fun. And I think it was directly related to just how much freedom they gave me, to just improvise and play and drag everybody along for the ride. Ginny McSwain, the great Ginny McSwain, she was our voice director. And to her, bless her heart, we should get her on here too. But she goes, doing a Darkwing session is like riding a horse that you found out in the prairie and you're trying to tame it. And Cummings is just going out of his mind and he's losing it. He's just, doing all this stuff and carrying on in 1,000 different ways. And it was just like, there's no telling what he's going to say next. So everybody had to be on their toes. And I think it came across, and I'm really pleased because of Disney Plus now, and it's one of their top shows. And, it's 30 years, 25 years old, something, maybe more.
30 plus,
So I'm very proud. Today, we have a very special guest, and I'm wearing this in his honor. We have Darkwing Duck's dad. Did you say Darkwing Duck's dad? Yes, I did. A.K.A. Thaddeus Rockwell, the one and only Tad Stones.
Thank you, Jim. Happy to be here.
Welcome.
Thanks for being
welcome.
here. Great, yeah.
Oh, good stuff, man. Well, we've been waiting on this episode, my shirt and I. I've been going to Comic-Cons, and as you have as well. And I've been prone to bringing a few of these and giving them away as prizes or selling them for, too much money. And signing them. And it's interesting because I was telling Chris earlier, we're at a point now, you and I, where we've got 3 generations of DW fans.
Yeah.
Because the dad will be there. The grandpa at this point, he'll be our age. And then dad will be there. He'll be like 35. And there's little Junior. He's 5 or 6. And I am the terror that flaps in the night, And it just gives me goosebumps. There comes a point in every script when there's sort of a call to arms, if you will. And Darkwing's ready to go in and do some battle with the bad guy. And he'll show up in a back alley or a balcony of an old abandoned movie theater, and very well lit on his end anyway. I have no idea where the lighting came from. But, he'd be saying, I am the terror that flaps in the night. And then there would always be a line in the middle, and the third line would always be, I am Darkwing Duck. And it would be, probably about 5 or 6 shows in, and we only did like 100 and however many. It said, "I am the terror that flaps in the night. It doesn't matter what I write here. Jim's gonna say something else anyway. I am Darkwing Duck." And so that was true.
How
but
proud
I
were you
would
when you
always-
saw that script? How proud were you when you saw, knowing that the writers are just going to, they trust you to come up with something?
Yeah, well, the thing is, I always did their line as written.
Okay.
I always did. That was the first take. And I'd say, "Can we do another take? Can we just do another take?" Sure. And, Ginny would let us do another take. And inevitably, they would choose the second one. It would be, and it was, I don't want to tell this again, but the one that was rejected was really disgusting. And so I won't say it here.
How disgusting. It's not the urine story, is it? It's not that one.
Yeah, that is. It's that
Okay,
one.
it's the urine one. Okay.
Actually, the floaty.
Yeah. Oh, no,
It
no.
had something
okay.
to do with a floaty. Okay.
Oh, we don't know that one.
So-
have you ever told that story
no,
before?
no.
Have you ever told that one before?
Maybe. It's I am the floaty that will not flush in the toilet bowl of crime. And it was like, wait, what? What did I just say? And I said, okay, cancel that. And then I made up something else because I was like, wait a minute, I just called myself anyway,
A piece of poo.
something like that. Yeah. And and without the H, poo is, you really need the H.
You really
got to
do.
have the H. You really do. It was a golden moment in my life. I had a couple decades of golden moments in my life throughout the Disney afternoon. And it started, I want to say Darkwing started as a ABC show.
It became ABC.
Became ABC.
Yeah.
No, it started on Disney. It was on the channel or in the Disney afternoon lineup is what they used to call it. And then ABC said, because they didn't even own Disney yet, or Disney didn't own them, or however that goes. But they said, those are doing really well. Can we have a bunch? So we made a bunch for Saturday morning. And I remember thinking, that is so cool that we're doing this show. We're loving it. We're having a great time. Everybody's having a great time. And somebody else noticed it. This big TV network said, "Can we have some of those?" And we're going, "Okay, sure." So the answer is always yes when they want more shows.
Yeah.
I'm so happy you are here.
I love you
This
so much.
is so
Jim.
dang cool.
Thank you.
E.G., I've known you. We have known us for as long as just about anybody that I know in this business.
Decades.
And I remember, and I can't even think of what it was, but it was at the old B&B Sound.
Yeah.
And we were doing a press kit,
Yeah.
and I didn't even know what it was. I think it might have been for Darkwing, might have been for
Darkwing Duck?
yeah, it
Do
could
you
have
think
been
it was
or
it was probably
something for Disney. I would imagine.
Jungle Cubs?
Yeah, maybe.
Whatever, yeah.
But it was a long time. And anyway, they Entertainment Tonight came
Okay.
there. They decided, okay, we're gonna do something. And I'm standing there like a doofus. "Hey, how you doing? Yeah, I do the funny voices, yeah, man." And they go, "And this is E.G. Daily." And she stands up, and you went through this like modeling routine. You were like slow motion dancing, and I'm going, "Wow, this chick is on fire."
That's
She's-
me, all righty.
Yeah, she's never done this before, and I'm sitting there and I'm doing arm farts trying to be cool, and you're just like this, vixen petitza.
That's my need to be
from
seen
heaven.
all the time. I'm learning about that.
Yeah. Oh
I'm
man.
learning the deep dark behind it.
Yeah. Well, we have to bring you out of your shell
yeah,
eventually.
exactly.
He's just too shy. When I first, even in Dumbo Circus, when I was Lionel the lion, he was a takeoff on Timothy the mouse from the movie Dumbo. And so by the time Darkwing rolled around, he was a signature character. He was there were no characters. Excuse me. There were no Darkwings before moi. And there never will be another one after me. Thank you. I just wanted to get that in. Anyway, yeah, he's my guy. Yeah, and I'm very, very proud of that. Yeah, and I love the guy.
Did you have any input into the character, or was he already created and fully fleshed out and established before you were given the role?
Well, you do have input because I'm a notorious ad-libber. Not only with the intro, I am the terror of the flaps in the night, the winged skirts, the pecks, but just throughout the show, I would throw quick little asides in, and they kept them all, and it all went toward establishing the personality that everybody came to kind of like. And so, was it official? No. But was it definite and palpable? Yes.
Yeah, I would definitely catch Darkwing. So I grew up in Canada, and we didn't have the Disney Channel growing up. There was no Disney Channel in Canada.
Neither
for
do
some
we,
weird
but
reason.
we just had it on like a free-to-air station. Yeah,
It was called the Family Channel in Canada, and now they have the Disney Channel in Canada. But that was just a couple of years ago they got it. And so, it was a different schedule, and it wasn't as, routine, but definitely anytime Darkwing came on, I was definitely tuning in.
It just felt like Darkwing was the cool one, wasn't it? It was like the cool Disney show.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I have to agree.
I guess maybe because it was just the superhero aspect to it. The superheroes and supervillains just made it feel cool when you were a kid. And as an adult.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was like, I was always still am, comic book guy. And this was a comic book. It was an animated comic book to me. I was like, okay, absolutely, full speed ahead. It was one of the very first that I ever went to. So it was probably a good 10 years ago. And I don't think Darkwing was on Disney Plus or anything quite yet at the time. Mm-hmm. And there was a little guy walking up, and he was 5 years old, and he was Darkwing. He was dressed as Darkwing. He was cosplaying Darkwing. And here's his dad, and Dad's about 35. And he goes, I am the terror of the hoof. It's in the night at Darkwing Duck. And I said, good for you, buddy. Boy, that's great. And I go, okay, well, I just have to ask Daddy a question. I go, okay, this show's been off the air for like 10, 15 years. How the heck does he? And he goes like this, and he reaches into his bag, and he pulls out a stack of DVDs, and he pounds them down. And he goes, because I'm raising him right. And I said, yes, you are.
Yes, you are.
You are raising him very, very right. And of course, I signed him. And then they probably went over to you, and then you signed him. I think it was, I know the Tad Stones and all the great writers that we worked with, they all had that sly sense of humor, and they always, it was like the kids in the back of the room who wanted to get something over on the teacher. And so I think that's what they were doing. Like, Taurus Bulba was a character, and it was, I'm going to forget the name of it, but it was a movie with George Chakiris and, Yul Brynner. And that character came from that. I mean, and it was Taurus Bulba or something like that. And it was this big, giant bad guy, but it was played by Tim Curry. And I really, really enjoyed, I have great admiration for him. He's a great guy, a great actor. I hope he's feeling good at this point. And, it was just, I remember they would bring in these people that you couldn't believe, for guest roles, like Carol Channing and Tim Curry and all these people. Excuse me. And it was just a joy. Everybody kind of wanted to, Rita Moreno, I think, was in one of them. Oh, that might have been Bunkers. But, all these incredible actors, they just kind of like enjoyed moonlighting, coming over and dipping their toe into animation and hanging out in this weird little world of ours. And, it was great. And Darkwing was a magnet for that because it kind of had an overall appeal. It wasn't just for, it was well written because it wasn't for first graders, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. And then it's for college kids also at the same time. Now that was a good trick. Yeah. And I think that was one of the keys.
I'm like, I'm pretty sure Jim probably made that line up because I don't think the writer would have written that one.
Yeah. Well, every time you think that, you're right. Yes. Just for the record. Every time you think that, you're right. That was a little too knowing. That was a little too inside. Yeah, he made that up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's true.
Anyway, then this wonderful thing happened. True. This man named Tad. So I got a little bit of a reputation there, kind of a good one. That's kind of what I was nicer then.
Yeah, I was good.
Yeah, but then Tad Stone said, I'm doing this show called Darkwing Duck. And I'd like you to direct it. And it wasn't like, we're going to interview you. I want you to direct it. And I was like, okay. And I'm kind of on a roll. And by the way, these are 65, 85 episode shows, which they don't do anymore.
Yeah, and Darkwing ended up on ABC for a couple seasons.
Right?
Saturday
That's right.
So it was on 6 days a week.
But here's my favorite thing. So we're auditioning for the ultimate Darkwing Duck lead.
And auditioning.
And you know who, and so you know who we did this pilot with? Lorenzo Music.
No way.
And even though it was so, I don't want to say wrong, it was so different. Because it was Carlton the Doorman as Darkwing.
I have the chair that flaps in the night.
But I loved it. I kind of got into it.
Yeah.
I directed my balls off with him.
Yes.
And of course, then it went in the toilet. And then we got this guy named Jim Cummings. And he came in, and I'm going to do a little number on you now. What was so great about Darkwing, it was my happiest Disney show. And it was at least 85 episodes, plus you said the network. The ABC. I was in my glory days. I was having fun, and we had the magnificent Chris Kavanaugh.
Yeah.
God bless her.
Yeah,
my God, Chrissy, who was raw and perfect.
Yes.
She was just raw.
Yeah, and she was like, "What are you doing with that maniacal laugh?" Remember the maniacal?
Yeah.
And it was, I think it's maniacal. No, it says right here, maniacal.
Yeah, she was she was so herself.
Yeah.
And but my tribute to you is Jim set the tone for every fucking episode. And he had that character down to a science. But don't forget, people were like going, well, it's like a black Donald Duck. It was like, remember, it was
really?
This like, I was like, it's a new character. And he's not colored white like Donald, but it's open your ears.
Actually, it was white, but who cares?
Yeah. Wasn't Darkwing Duck? Wasn't he black?
No, you're thinking of Daffy.
Oh, God. See?
I'm
I'm in my 70s.
And we're back.
But anyway, he was awesome. And, I wasn't a big cartoon girl. And all I cared about were the actors. And we had some...
And do it right.
And do it right, yeah. Are you going to do it like that? No,
I'll give you $5 cash to do it right.
But
I have a lot of fives.
It was good. It was good. I mean, we had some great guest stars.
It'll never be like that again. I don't think.
Oh, that's usually what I say if I do any, speaking
anything
for anybody.
At all, yeah.
We'll never have those days again. It will never. And the fact that we got the writers that would trust me to take their vision and translate it to you guys.
Oh yeah.
Come on. Now we direct by committees.
Mark
and
Zaslav.
Yeah.
Ken
Kessel.
Ken Kessel. Yeah.
Bob Taylor.
Yeah.
Who was a piece of work, and I loved him.
Oh boy.
I got to love the pieces of work because I think it was called. We were on the same level there.
Yeah.
But you set the tone for all these wonderful actors that came in, Jim, and that's, as a director, I never wanted, I don't think I ever gave line reads. But what I did, I wanted to be the puppeteer. All I wanted to do was say, do that thing that you just did and, speed it, we need more energy, more presence on mic. I just wanted it to be that.
Yeah, do it better.
Do it better.
Do it better. That was a good one.
One of the reasons I enjoyed it growing up was just like he had the same kind of like energy to me as like a Deadpool or like a Spider-Man. You know how they're they have the quips and their little asides, and I think that's what really made me gravitate towards it because I just loved your I'm now learning that they're all made up by you, but those
yeah.
But that sense of humor kind of in the middle of action is just it's so appealing to me. And I think many other people too.
Yeah, I could remember one, I can't remember the name of the episode, but there was this lady that was going on and on about fashion or something, and Darkwing was trying to save them from being ripped off by Taurus Bulba or Bush Root or whoever it was, and she's going, and another thing, well, thank you for sharing, and then he just dove through there, and it was just, and I've gotten letters, and people at the time they're going, was that written? Thank you for sharing, because that was kind of a thing at the day, in the late '80s, early '90s. Thank you for sharing. It was real touchy-feely, and everybody got that I was being sarcastic, so that made me feel good. Thank you for sharing. Shut up. Okay, goodbye. I remember, the audition went out to me and everybody else in town. And it was, they actually, oddly enough, based it a little bit off of a Daffy Duck Warner Brothers episode in which he took on the role of the Scarlet Pimpernel, and it was a one-off. It was in one Bugs Bunny short, 1 7-minute cartoon, but the outfit looked like Darkwing, but it was red. He had the big flowing hat and sort of a slightly musketeerish, and it had a little bit of the shadow in it, which was an old I guess 40s pulp pulp fiction character. And so they put it together, and they said, well, we can't make it red. We can't, this and that. And this guy's white, and Daffy was black. And so they kind of, massaged it a little bit and came up with that outfit that he's got on. In fact, I think you can see it right back there. There's a few. I'm never far from a few Darkwing.
Darkwing's everywhere.
Darkwing's everywhere. I mean, in case I feel like someone's watching me. Anyway, so yeah, they just put that all together, and they certainly didn't want it to sound, like at that point, Donald and Daffy Duck were the two famous ducks, if you will, And Donald, nobody can understand what the hell he's saying, so we couldn't have that, could we? And then Daffy, fluffer and fluckatash, with all the spitting and the this and the that. We can't do that. So I thought, gosh, I don't think I've ever said this before. Okay, so everybody cover your ears, because this is stuff that nobody's ever heard before, unless I've said it before. And I was thinking that it would be nice to have a little bit of the looniness of Daffy Duck in there, but without the spit, and you can understand what the hell he's saying. Because that's always a plus when you're doing voiceover, to let them actually know what you're saying, and because Daffy Duck is sort of like this. And Darkwing Duck is sort of like that. And I'm sure there was no similarity in that. Maybe a little bit. But I just thought, well, let's try that. And let's see. And then, see, it's not just a voice. I've always said, people say, well, how do I become a voice actor? It's not that you're becoming a voice actor. You're becoming an actor who uses your voice. It's Jess Harnell said it. When you're a voice actor, it's a small V, but it's a capital A. A 7-year-old will come up dressed as Darkwing Duck, and I go, okay, well, that show was off the air 20 years before you were born.
They don't care.
Yeah, they don't care. Well, it's on Disney Plus now.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like we don't go away. I mean, we will take a little break, but the shows don't go away. So then we are right back, and it's like nobody missed anything. It's so great.
It's very current.
Yeah.
These two women came up separately, and they said, and they got misty-eyed about Darkwing. And they said, the relationship of Darkwing and Gosling got me through my childhood, because evidently one had a father was gone, or the other one, maybe the father was terrible, did not press for details. And eventually they found each other and got to cry together and became friends and all that. And then the second day of the con, a vendor comes up to me. And, I have a Darkwing poster behind me.
Sure.
And she comes up and says, I never watched cartoons as a kid. And I'm thinking, strange thing to say to me.
We don't have anything in common so far.
Yeah, exactly. And she goes, except this one. And I said, wow, funny. And I told her the story of the women I'd met the previous day. And she just went, maybe that's why. And I went, ooh. Glad I could help. Sorry, I had a terrible life. Can
you remember anyone else who auditioned for Darkwing? Because I remember with Bonkers, you said Jim Carrey was there. Can you remember anybody notable that went for Darkwing as well?
Oh yeah, gosh. I don't know that I was privy to it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Sir Laurence Olivier, Richard Burton. Who else? Don't tell me. Bruce Willis, definitely Bruce.
Anthony Hopkins, I'm assuming.
Anthony Hopkins was there. Yul Brynner.
Yeah.
And Meryl Streep.
Oh, really? She would have been a great Darkwing, actually.
Yeah. I kicked her ass.
Yeah, of course.
So there.
Yes. So was it a different process to Bonkers then? Because I know with Bonkers you said, I think you were brought back maybe 5 times, I think, for Bonkers.
5 times.
So with this one here, can you remember?
5 times.
So you auditioned, and was it a case of, well, we found our man, or did you have to come back a few times? How was the Darkwing Duck process?
Yeah, I want to say it was like 2 or 3 times. Yeah, because they didn't know. You know, they were going back and forth as to whether or not he would have a certain. And I just thought, oh, God, I'm not going to do that.
Really? So they were toying with the idea of giving him that lisp, kind of, were they?
Yeah, a little bit. But the most important thing with him was attitude. I mean, he has no superpowers. He's a pretty good detective. He's got lots of gadgets. So it was more Batman than anything else. Batman with a little shadow in there. I mean, he had the thunderquack. He had the motorcycle, the gas gun, suck gas, evildoers. And one of my favorite things was when, I don't know if I told you, but I remember when, because it went to ABC, it was very, very, very popular. And they went, oh, geez, let's put this on network on Saturday, not just, 5 days a week. And so they put it on there. And a couple episodes in, I guess ABC called me in, and at the beginning of a recording session, and they go, "Now, we just want to make sure you are saying suck gas, evildoers, right?" And I said, "Yeah. I mean, he's got a gas gun. It's like it's kind of a passive weapon, and that was part of the idea. You throw a rope and it wraps around them and knocks them down. Well, they're not going to blow up and die, right? So a gas gun knocks them out. They're not going to be shot in the head. So there were these sort of PC, user-friendly weaponry. And so the gas gun was a part of it. And they go, okay, so he's saying suck gas, evildoers. And I go, yes, that's absolutely what he's saying. And they go, and then they go quiet and they go, okay, well, do me a favor. Really hit the G on gas. Because suck ass, evildoers. It's not the same. And I went, all right. Thank you. Suck ass, evil. Got it. Ding, 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 ding.
Party poopers. So, it's like, they're writing the lines. I can't help how it sounds. It's not my fault.
Yeah, I know. You have a problem with G's, apparently.
So, touching back, so you said they were toying with the idea of giving Darkwing Duck a lisp, or the spitting, like Daffy and Donald. What is it with duck characters? Why do they have to give them that speech impediment? What is it something about the design of a duck? What is it? Why?
I don't know. It's not. It wasn't my idea, and it lasted for 10 seconds. I went, okay, well, no, that sucks. Anything else?
Why do you think they gave Daffy and Donald, like both ducks, the same speech? Like, why do you think that was the case?
I don't know. I think, first of all, ducks don't talk.
Yeah.
Brandon, I don't know if you knew that.
Now I know.
You see now. That there's a problem inherent in the system.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it's partly giving. It's part of giving a cartoon character a goofy sounding voice, and it's built into the model. Bobo, bobo, bobo. Certain characters just have to sound a little dim or a little too undim or whatever, and you just have to mold it to fit. And I just think that's up until that point, all the different characters had speech impediments, and so I gave him Tigger and said, "That's all you get."
Yeah, well, I always said that you were Darkwing's dad and Ginny was his mom.
Yeah, definitely. Because Ginny, I've said this is when it's like, you're not the voice of Darkwing around the world, obviously, because in Russia they have different names, different names for the characters, obviously different language and all that, all around the world. But you're the Darkwing we worked with and designed the character from. And you and Ginny, I remember how when you first did the kind of flat sound when something would squash him, that kind of thing, that like the next episode or the episode after that, something happened and you did a different cartoon. I'm sure it was hilarious. Sound effect. And she said, no, do that flat thing. And, and you did. And that, and you going, yip, 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 yip. That's all that sort of thing she would feed back to you. We'd take those tapes. I'd play it for all the staff story editors and writers. So the character was being created in this echo chamber from you and Ginny and all the writers. And that was, so it didn't matter what language it ended up in, the actual character evolved that way. So,
the mannerisms.
Now, Ginny, on her interview with you, said one thing that I can't believe it actually happened. She said that they did a pilot with Lorenzo Music. And I was saying that was, I said, I mean, back in the day, to use both phrases, there were actors that we had worked with from Wuzzles and Gummies, Chippendale and DuckTales and all that. So a lot of those people were like, I loved working with so-and-so.
Yeah, and he was a gummy, but he was Tummy.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like to have him do a whole pilot, that would have been a executive decision, would have to sign up on it, because that would have been paying somebody for doing a whole pilot. And he was just never in my head as a... just energy. Didn't matter about the voice, just energy.
Can we tell everybody who Lorenzo was in case you don't know?
Oh, Garfield, right?
He was Garfield.
And Carlton, the doorman.
Carlton, the doorman on Mary Tyler Moore. And he used to he used to joke about it. He goes, well, if you want, I could do a medley of my greatest voice. and that was it. That was it. If you hired Lorenzo, that's what you got, not the most dynamic, not the most explosive.
He was not Mel Blanc, He was the guy you bring for a billion voices.
Yeah, no, that's so true. But a hell of a nice guy.
Oh yeah.
I saw you say that you had Jim right away in mind for the role of Darkwing Duck.
I worked with Jim.
Oh, good.
In all those shows. Starting with Gummy Bears, because that was the first one I did at Disney. And then Rescue Rangers, before it was Monterey Jack, we did like Rescue Rangers 4 people, because 3 of the people always did a million voices, and it was always Corey and Tress and Jim. And then you'd have some guest star, to fill in the other voices.
Yeah, Peter Cullen, Frank Welker, so many.
And having that group, you just know who, like Rob Paulson, loved working with Rob.
Oh, sure.
And he used to joke around with a voice that became Steelbeak. And that was specifically me saying, I want to design a character for that voice.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until recently, and I've already forgotten the other names, that I knew that there was no way they'd say, oh yeah, Jim's going to do it just on my say-so. So we had to try other people. And recently I found the list, and there were the usual suspects at the time. And like I say, I honestly don't remember. But, basically you came in and wiped everything out of my mind, because that's the voice in my head. You do all sorts of things. So
that works. I'll take that.
Yeah.
Glad to hear that. Well, I always thought that one of the keys to Darkwing was the fact that he doesn't have any superpowers. Yeah. He's a duck. And not Howard, no relation, none of that, no Daffies, thank you. But he had a lot of gizmos.
Oh, yes.
And not as many as Gizmo Duck, because he was, anyway. But I thought that was so cool, because he was a cross between the Shadow and Batman. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
In there somewhere. And Batman had gizmos.
Oh,
he had cool gizmos.
And notoriously, especially in the Silver Age, Batman was notorious for putting
comics,
his face.
By the way.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
He was notorious for putting his face on everything.
Yes.
It's like, can't you just throw the shuriken or the no,
Shuriken?
it's got to look like a bat. It's like,
That's
okay,
right. That's
okay,
right.
we got this cool car going. You know, the hood is missing something. Like
Yes.
maybe a bat head, you know, because I grew up, you know,
Sure.
again with the long sedan or whatever it was with a giant
Batmobile.
bat. The Batmobile had a big bat head on the front and
Yes.
one single fin bat wing in the back.
Yeah.
So that's definitely, you know, was in my mind when I was doing Darkwing. And really thank God there was no internet, because if I was able to call up all those old comics I was half remembering, I probably would have gotten paranoid. Well, we can't do that exactly because they're doing it that way. We can't plagiarize, you know, instead of saying, I remember this Flash cover where he was a marionette, or, you know, well, like Negaduck. People say, well, why is Negaduck yellow, red, and black? And people say, well, that's the opposite colors. And then they look up a color chart. No, not at all.
Not really.
I said, no, they're the color of the Reverse Flash, the most evil doppelganger there was in comics. And it, you know, it was that sort of. So, I mean, Darkwing started out as 00 Duck.
Yes.
And we couldn't use that name. He became less secret agent and became Darkwing, and that gave me permission. I kept the spy stuff we had developed because my feeling is that's who paid for the gizmos. I don't know that we ever said it in the show, but to me it would make sense that, hey, they hire this guy freelance, they pay a nice big fee, and they say, oh, you got to be able to get around town. So here's a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Can we have this face on it?
Here's a motorcycle. Yeah.
Can I have a duck bill on it?
Yeah.
So,
Well,
I mean, I just
the
really
Thunderquack.
leaned into silver. Yeah, exactly. Thunderquack.
And the Ratcatcher.
And there was going to be the Wave Shredder, too, which is why St. Canard has water around it, which would have been his boat.
Oh. I don't think we ever got around to that, did we?
We never wrote a boat story.
Yeah.
It came down to, so.
Which is it? But and after all, he's a duck, so why would he have? Oh, never mind.
That's true. Yeah. Well, that was the thing about his origin. People said, well, my answer to why didn't you do an origin story of Darkwing Duck? And I said, au contraire, we did like 6 of them, parodying different, and fans will say, no, he became Darkwing because he went to high school with Megavolt. I said, no, that's just the story you like. So that's why you think it's canon, because there is no canon in Darkwing, it's like no matter how DC Comics changes Batman lore and updates it, somehow Alan Moore's Killing Joke is always part of the the background. It's just whether Barbara Gordon is in a wheelchair or not.
I mean, I've known him for 100 years. All the guys over there at Disney character voices and Disney TV animation. Jim Magon, Mark Zaslav, Ed Wexler. I could go down the list, and I'm going to stop, Toby. I'm going to stop because if I keep going, I'll leave somebody out, and that won't be right. But yeah, I mean, we were all. It was interesting. I mean, we were all kind of in our prime, in our 30s, or and cable television was exploding. People nowadays think it was there forever, but when I was a little boy, there were 4 stations: ABC, NBC, CBS, and whatever public television was back then, UHF, and that was it. And then all of a sudden, boom! All these cable channels opened up, and they needed programming. They really, really needed programming. So Disney started cranking out, Tailspin, Darkwing, Bonkers, just on and on and on, Gummy Bears.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And so, I think I was a little bit of it was being at a good place at a good time. Well, I remember 00 Duck. I remember that coming up.
Yeah,
but that did not fly.
No.
And
can you
Robo Duck was another one.
Robo Duck, okay.
Yeah, and that was not Robo Duck. Oh gosh, it was Hamilton. It was his character that Robo Duck. Oh, and he had a wheel, and he was
Gizmo Duck. Gizmo Duck.
What's it?
What do you mean?
Yeah, they
Gizmo
ended up
Duck.
being Gizmo. Yeah, they had the same problem, I guess.
Oh, so it was going to be originally called like a Robo Duck kind of thing. Okay, and that
Robo Duck. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Well, it always had a slight Batman aspect to it, a slight Scarlet Pimpernel aspect to it, and then they threw in the single dad, which kind of gave him a whole new dimension, and I thought it was
understated.
Great. Yeah. Oh, I know. And of course she eventually, Gosling, Chrissy Cavanaugh, God rest her soul, and E.G. Daly took over the role, the great E.G. Daly, magnificently.
Yeah.
But she was Quiverwing Quack, and she, had her little bow and arrow with suction cup arrows on it, and it was great. And it was a really cool addition. And she would show up on Darkwing's missions, and it was like, oh God, now I have to protect my daughter and get the bad guy, so it was crazy. So she was a real interesting curveball. It was kind of brilliant. Okay, your daughter is going to show up. Wait, what? I'm fighting crime. No, get home and do your homework. Oh, and do the dishes too. So it was really interesting, and I think it added a whole new layer. It was wonderful.
Have you been catching wind of this Darkwing reboot that they're talking about?
Oh yeah, technically I am a consultant.
Is that so?
One would think.
Well, it was funny because early on fans, hit the social network saying, well, Tad Stones is a consultant, so of course it's going to be perfect.
That's right.
Tad Stones won't let them do anything wrong. I finally had to tell
according
everybody.
to the Bible.
I had to tell everybody the definition of a consultant is somebody you pay to give advice that you don't have to listen to. So it's like, yeah. And I've seen very little of it. I mean, it's going. It's I'm not sure exactly at what stage it's at, but I saw early outline, early treatment, which they've now drastically changed. As I understand.
Well, I know we did a while ago. Did a I don't know what it was.
But like a sizzle reel or
no, it was a full blown Darkwing show, and fully animated, and it was not dissimilar to the Batman's Return, where he was older. He was 30 years older, and he had a beard. He had the old man beard, and I don't know where it's going to go or what it's going to do.
No,
and in fact, I don't even. Am I still going to be Darkwing?
I have no idea.
I don't either.
I'm on the record because I saw a little animated clip when I said the silhouette is great, and I said hearing Jim's voice, that sells it. And it was like, that's when I got, things are still changing. Who knows how it's going to be, because that was more than a year ago.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
And that was obviously a thing that you spent way too much money on this little piece, because there's no way you can afford that in the series. I'm sure I should be saying none of this.
Too late.
Anyway, to me, it's weird. It used to be that a cartoon character was his design and his voice. So if you're going to replace Donald Duck, he had to sound exactly like Ducky Nash, and that's how Tony got and Selmo got the job. But then there's kind of a feeling where, no, this is more like if you were doing a live action reboot, you can't, cast the same actor if it's supposed to be a young person, and that original actor is now 40. And it's like, well, we need a new young person. And some of that sensibility is, I'm not talking Disney, I'm talking the whole animation industry. And to me, it's like, well, you go back to the source material, whatever it was. Sometimes it's a comic or something like that. And, be true to that. That's what made the thing unique. And when they did the Chippendale Rescue Rangers movie, I thought the guys did a great job as the voices, but it was built into the concept that the voices we're used to were things that they put on. They were doing animated character voices, that speeded up thing. And they still looked like Chippendale.
Yeah,
right.
Even though they had turned Dale into a CG character, he still was on model, as far as if we were just going to say, hey, let's turn a bunch of Disney characters into CG, that's the kind of transition you'd say. It's like, that you kept the same design. It's just fuzzy now. You know?
Yeah, that was a kind of a interesting piece of work there, wasn't it?
I enjoyed it because I took it as it is. It's like, no, they're not doing more episodes of the show. This doesn't have anything to do with the show. The conceit of this piece of fiction is this is the behind the scenes movie while that show that you love was made.
Yeah. It was very interesting.
So, I mean, it
was what it was.
Yeah, it was fairly successful. And as far as I know, who can tell with streaming?
No kidding.
But I laughed a lot, you know.
And at the time, I had 2 daughters. Yeah, and my daughter Livia is the oldest, and she got called Goslin at school.
Really?
And
that's cool.
You would
or
think,
did she not like that?
Yeah, you would think. So I said, "Come on, is that bad?" She goes, "It's embarrassing, Dad." I said, "No, it's not."
Your dad is Darkwing Duck.
Your dad's Darkwing Duck. Shut up. You're welcome. I mean, it's like, and I can remember, answering the phone or answering the door for Halloween, and the little kids would be there, trick or treat, and I'd put the stuff in there, the candy in their little bags there, and I remember these 2 little boys that were like 7 and 9. And they're sitting there looking around the house. And I said, "Is there anything else I can do for you?" "Well, does Darkwing Duck live here for reals?" And I said, "Yes, he does. But he's out now protecting, the Santa Rosa Valley from, bad guys." And he goes, and the little guy goes up to his brother and goes, "I told you, you stupid booger. I told you he lived here." And my wife and I would just bust it up. And we gave him like all the candy. And he goes, thanks. And I said, "Stay dangerous." And they went, "Ah!" You
ate Darkwing.
Yeah. I hate Darkwing, yeah.
Let's talk about your favorite memories of working with Christine.
Oh, my God. She was just a gem. She was, I'm trying to think, she might have been from Utah. She was from a small town girl.
Chris, look that up for us.
She brought all of that. Christine Cavanaugh. She brought all of that sort of wide-eyed innocence to it, and I think it sparkled through in the character. And I, she was just a doll. I was crazy about her, and we were all just so lucky to have her. And she was just a bright, shining light. And she would occasionally, sneak something by Ginny, our director, and we thought she was doing it on purpose. And then Ginny would hear it, and she goes, "No, that's." She said, "Well, I can tell you one thing. I'm not going to be going after some guy with a maniacal laugh." And I guess the preferred pronunciation is maniacal laugh, but she said maniacal, and we all just died. And it was just perfect. And she had that kind of pure sense of putting it out there. And she wasn't worried about looking, oops, like I mispronounced something. No. It was her instinct. And, I've got an expression, instincts are the best stinks.
Yeah.
And she was just pure. And I think that's what really came across in Babe, too. It was that sweet heart of hers that came through.
How long did it take to animate a Darkwing?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I think we'd send it off and it'd be, I want to say 9 months.
Yeah.
To come back literally from overseas.
Yeah.
And that was back when we shipped things physically.
Right. That's right.
Literally packed up stuff in boxes.
Yeah, it wasn't like...
Well, I was the worst or best, depending on your opinion. And gosh, I don't know, 80%, 70% of the time we didn't have everybody there. Like, for instance, I can tell you this, Darkwing Duck and Launchpad McQuack.
Yeah.
That's the team, right? We did one show at the same time.
Wow. You and Terry,
we did
that's it.
A show, Terry and I, we did a show out of the 109, I don't even know how many there are. The interwebs know.
92 episodes, I believe, of the show. Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we did a show together. He actually had a radio show in San Francisco.
So he couldn't. Okay.
Morning. I think it was Morning Drive.
Yeah.
And it was literally kind of impossible to get him here. You know, we're doing a show at 2 p.m, and he gets off the air at 1. You know, something. You know what I mean? Something like that. And it was untenable. It was just didn't work. Well, I haven't seen him in a couple of years, but it's always great to see him. You know, and you know, we have a pretty good bond. You know, he and Katie Lee, and you know, the various people that are, you know, God bless, still
Michael
there.
Bell, Dan, yeah.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen Dan in a few years, but
yeah. What's it like?
You know, I'm a
with
huge Dan
you know?
fan. He's a great guy, funny as hell. And, you know, and we did Tasmania together too, and Earthworm Jim together too. So he's no, I mean, he's so gifted. He's it was interesting because he did Megavolt was a combination of Gene Wilder and a little bit of God, I can't really put my finger on it, but Charles Nelson Riley maybe, but it was, oh, that is so like you, you know. It was just a takeoff on mostly Gene Wilder, and I thought it was brilliant because he was so frustrated. Like if you saw the producers, the original producers, with Zero Mostel and Gene Wilder, you know, Gene's character needed his blanket, and he had to have a blanket, you know, and Dan kind of brought that urgency, that neediness to the character, and it was really cool as hell. It was funny as hell, and you know, the two personalities played off against each other so well, you know, and Dan, he's the man.
Australia did, thankfully, what I consider the real pilot of Darkwing Duck, which was, I mean, there's the pilot everybody talks about, where it's the story of Gosling being adopted by Darkwing, which started off the show.
Close your eyes, little girl blue.
Exactly. I used to get payments for that.
No kidding.
Yeah, because I wrote half the song. Because half the song is the code.
Yes, that's right.
Thing, so.
It was, I remember it well.
Yeah.
God, it feels like, boy, I remember all that stuff. I'm not too good with yesterday.
Yeah,
but 20 years ago,
why do I know that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, where did it just went out of my mind? And it came back. What were we talking?
Back from Korea, back from Australia.
We were talking.
I was saying the real pilot was that sinking feeling with Professor Moriarty. Well, I don't know if we called him Professor, but Moriarty.
Yes.
Yes. And I had to write a script. That's it. We had talked Darkwing, we had drawn Darkwing, we had designed things, but now it was like, I have to put what's in my head into your head, meaning all my story editors and all that. So you have to write the original script. So that script actually had Honker was a little more active, how he would use his brain to calculate angles and stuff like that.
Herb Muddlefoot's scion of the Muddlefoot family.
But all of that first episode went to the Australian studio, which was very small, but they really knew classic Disney, classic Warner's animation.
Did beautiful work.
We got a pencil test back of that, full pencil test, which is you never see.
Wow.
And it was hilarious. I showed it to the crew, and everybody was laughing so loud and all that a secretary came in and said, you know, our boss, what's going on in here? And, you know, and it's like, you guys have to keep it down, you know, because the boss was next door. It's one of those things like, this is a really good thing to be happening, you know?
Yeah. No, it's okay that we like it.
It would be better if you came in and laughed along.
And who was the boss back then?
That was Gary Kreisel.
Gary Kreisel.
There you go.
I knew you were going to say that.
He built the animation division.
Yeah.
In fact, we prided ourselves on that, on being able to entertain mom and dad and the kids.
Yep.
You know, that was literally in the Bible. You know, so you know, I'm glad it worked. Quacker Jack was one of my favorites.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you, what were some of your favorite villains? Like, can you remember the episodes or the villains?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, Tim Curry, very much. So Taurus Bulba. And, I have a soft spot for Tino and Santa.
Yeah.
He was had a John Candy vibe to him, which is a beautiful guy. And I mean, gosh, Bushroot, and don't forget, I was my worst enemy.
Yes.
I was Negaduck.
Yeah.
So, Negaduck. It was kind of like Darkwing with a bass amplifier on his voice, I guess. I don't know.
A lot of talk gets played up about how you play the two main roles in Bonkers, but you were the hero and the villain in Darkwing Duck as well. That can't be understated as well. How fun was it?
Yeah, that's right.
Was it having a conversation with yourself as a villain and a hero? How fun was that?
A lot of fun.
Yeah.
Because I could play. Well, I always knew what I was going to say as the other guy. And so I could pre-establish how pissed off I was going to be or how righteous I was going to be. And, it was great. Yeah. I knew what was coming because it was coming from me.
There were things that we did that Twin Peaks was a hilarious episode. Obviously, having fun with Twin Peaks.
Twin Peaks. If I was going to say, if ever, hopefully some of you out there remember that.
Well, it was
a reference.
They did
it was a big
seasons,
one.
Whatever. I remember it was pitched by Jan Stranad as a writer, and I said, okay, but it has to work with somebody who has never seen Twin Peaks because
that makes
obviously
sense.
The kids were not staying up.
That's true.
Probably if they were, they weren't watching Twin Peaks.
That's true.
Anyway, he took a shot at it, and I said, no, it had too many like throwaway lines, like not that this would make sense to anybody who hasn't seen the show, but like the log lady, there'd be a log reference or something like that, or cherry pie.
And it's
shot
like over their heads,
It wasn't so, it was just like, well, that was weird, but it wouldn't be funny. It wouldn't be a callback to anything. And I had to take over that script because I realized it would be unfair to him because the dividing line of what would work and not is in my head. And I didn't want to put him through that exercise. So I took that over. But then one of my story editors, Kevin Hops again, was not a Twin Peaks viewer. And he just loved the tone of that script that we had done with Darkwing. It was so crazy. And we got excited. We said, yeah, we should do more like that. Other shows. Other shows that we could have fun with. And we were all excited about that. But nobody ended up pitching those stories. So it wasn't like I had a writer's room to give out commands. I had talented people. My point was, let the talented people be talented. Don't make them do everything my way. And you had to go, our schedule was so tight, you had to go with the stories that were pitched to you. And we had great stories, Obviously people loved the show.
I think
so. But it was like, now looking back, it's like, oh yeah, why didn't we do more of that or find another show to have fun
hindsight,
with?
right?
Yeah, exactly. We could have done within the Disney afternoon, we could have done a Tailspin episode or something like that, where recast our guys as those characters or something.
Oh, there you go.
But we were just like, when's the script due? The answer's always the same, Friday. Except for this Friday, two scripts are due.
What time is it here? Yeah.
So,
oh man, well, a lot of pressure.
Yeah, but it was so much in those early days of the Disney afternoon. The thing that was so rare about it was Buena Vista Distribution is who put out the cartoon. That's a Disney company. We did not have to take notes from them. And they pretty much, once we sold Michael Eisner and Jeffrey Katzenberg on whatever series we're doing, they had to take it. So
that's true.
So in other words, I wasn't getting network
if the boss
notes.
likes it.
Yeah. So we had an in-house person that we would pitch premises to, a couple people.
And who was that?
There was Bruce Cranston was higher up.
Yeah.
That was Greg's boss. But the great thing that worked out is Greg Wiseman, who later did Gargoyles.
Sure.
Greg was assigned to our show, and he was fairly new. And the great thing about it is Greg had been an editor at DC Comics.
I didn't know
had
that.
actually written, uncredited some issues of Captain Atom. So anyway, he knew every reference, and could say, hey, did you think of, whatever. And then he was super passionate, and very knowledgeable, obviously a great writer. But he once said to me something that I know that Gary would never have allowed. He said, Tad, this is your show. My job is to be objective and give you notes. Whether you take the notes or not, that's up to you. And it's like, I just bit my lip because it's like, never repeat that outside of this room.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we're going to go with it.
Don't let,
On the other hand, Greg was so passionate about things that he would just wear us down. And, the idea was always, it wasn't wrong. The note was always based on something. It was just different. Yeah. So you might execute it in a little different way, but, he was an asset, when it came to that. But we didn't, it wasn't until... Basically, the Darkwing was not canceled per se. Everybody says, well, why did you cancel such and such? Back then, the business...
That's an ugly word.
Yes. The business plan was you only need 65 episodes.
That's right.
For syndication. Because
it stretches out 13 weeks, right?
13 weeks of 5 episodes, Monday through Friday. Now, if you have a toy line like Transformers that you're hyping, and that's the main reason for the show, you can keep going as long as you're turning out new toys. But for us, it was like 5 episodes, that's it.
That's right.
Why didn't they adopt the toy model with Darkwing?
Well, they put out some toys. They just didn't. It was a weird thing. Yeah, it's like he's not an action toy, and he's not a little kiddie toy.
Well,
so
McDonald's
they did think. Exactly. I mean, McDonald's did toys of, Rescue Rangers, Darkwing, all the Disney Afternoon stuff. Yeah. And they designed a second line. It just, I don't know what the numbers were, but evidently they weren't big enough that...
business decision.
Exactly. Yeah. And that goes for the show too. I always quote Lily Tomlin, who one of her characters who was an agent. She said, line has always stuck with me. And that's, nobody calls it show art. So when you hear about a decision being made, that's what's going on.
Yeah.
But with Darkwing, and this is before Disney owned ABC. ABC had seen stuff or heard about stuff. I don't know if they were officially pitched it, but they wanted 13 episodes of Darkwing Duck. And
that must have made you feel great.
It did, but what was really great about it was, and later on they wouldn't have made this kind of deal, they felt like we can't have episodes on ABC and in syndication because all the syndicators will be irritated. Ooh. So we have to do 13 more episodes. So
they had to be separate, right?
Yeah. So what they did, but we showed them episodes, but we showed them in, I don't know how many, whether it was groups of 5 or whatever. They might see some footage, or they'd see storyboards, or they would just see a script. And they had to choose. They couldn't give notes, but they have to choose. If they passed on something, and this was the gambling part that was fun. If they passed on something, they would never see that again. So it wasn't like, we're not sure about this one. And then the next group is a bunch of dogs, and they say, we want that one back. Nope. You're not getting it. So who knows what was that?
What was up with that?
It just made sense that otherwise you could not give ABC 13 of the absolute best episodes, the best animated, the funniest in their minds anyway. That had the syndication had to have the full-on Darkwing of the humor, the animation, and all of that. So that's how it was handled, which turned out great. When fans try to put things in the correct order, I just shrug. I say,
it's impossible.
There's the production. If you go by production numbers, production numbers are given when something is approved to premise. That doesn't mean that's going to be the next in line written. It's like, you got 4 or 5 story editors, and they're juggling, and they're doing juggling. You've got all these scripts going on at the same time. And then you take the ABC episodes out, and when they air. Now, recently, a Disney executive reached out to me, and I thought this was super nice. He said, we have the chance to reorder the shows on Disney Plus. So we're looking at you for the correct order. I said the same thing I just said, which is there is no order. However, it makes sense.
With the exception of the origin.
Well,
so to speak.
Yeah, exactly, the meeting Goslin.
Yeah.
But I said, it makes sense that before you have a team up of villains, you introduce the villains ahead of time. Negaduck famously appeared when he was hit by a ray by the electrical villain Megavolt,
sort of, yes,
and he was split into a good guy, a Posiduck, and a Negaduck. Yeah. At the end, and we were worried, like, well, can Jim do the voices? That's 3 voices he has to do with the same character. Will that work? How will overseas handle it? And sometimes, because they're looking at drawings of the character that looks exactly the same.
Yeah,
how often is that going to get mixed up? And it turned out to be doable. And at the end of it, I said, I love the character of Negaduck. Jim did a great job on it. Let's do more stories of Negaduck. And the writers were going like, well, so he gets hit by the ray every time and splits into 2. I said, no.
No, he's there now.
I don't want to see Posiduck. Nobody likes Posiduck.
Yeah, right.
It's just Negaduck. And they said, and this was my philosophy, again, from the Silver Age of comics, when there was kind of continuity. They said, how do we explain how he comes back? And my answer was, you don't. And you just do episodes. It's really funny.
That's true.
Several shows in, someone had a story about the Negaverse, and fans think, oh, that's the real origin.
Yeah.
It's like,
okay,
fine, that makes sense. And,
sure.
And you can do fan fiction of how when Darkwing was originally split, that character was an echo of another dimension. You can come up with any story you want. That's part of the fun.
And then you get to be like truly creative.
Yeah,
and I think that's like, you know what they say, like thinking like a child, you know, it's like a child would never think like, oh, this doesn't make sense because it's not in, or how did this happen? It's just like sheer entertainment. It's like, this is what's happening and who cares why.
They wanted your thoughts on the DuckTales reboot that included Darkwing Duck, which you weren't the voice of, right? So what were your thoughts on, did you see it? Did you see Darkwing Duck reappearing on
I was and I wasn't. I think it was Drake Mallard. Yeah, I people have asked me about that before. My problem is I couldn't quite. The storyline didn't really work for me. Okay. I hope no one heard that. Just kidding. I hope everyone heard that. But no, it was interesting. You know, it's I don't know how you do a reboot that doesn't reboot. It's pretty much that simple. Although I guess that's not really a reboot. It was an homage. It was I'm not 100% sure what happened
for
there.
A new audience.
Yeah, for a new audience. And, what's interesting is, I think I might have said this before. With certain of my characters, Darkwing first among them, I improvise so much that I'm not 100% sure that writing for a character that no one has written for, except the guy doing it, is all that easy.
Yep.
So
no one
the
can
writers
any more than what you do. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the writers, they were grateful. They were like, "Oh man, I didn't know I wrote that well." And it was just because I always do everything as written, and like I said before, and then I'll just do one as a lark, and a lot of times they use the lark because it's a little more whimsical. It's in the moment, and and I'm very grateful. I don't make bones about it. I'm not, saying I'm Shakespeare. That's for sure. But
Chris will say
I don't know. Yeah, there you go.
That's right.
Yeah.
Specifically for Darkwing, people say, oh, the Liquidator is based on Hydro-Man. And it's like, I have never heard of Hydro-Man. I was in college in those years and I didn't have a comic store nearby. He's based on the Sandman, Spider-Man number 4, I want to say, because Sandman escaped from Spider-Man by going down a drain in particles like that. And he stopped Sandman, maybe in that issue, by throwing bags of cement at him and then hitting him with water.
Right.
And we use that gag to freeze Liquidator. But that going down the drain just seemed, and then what made Liquidator fun was the idea that he was this super salesman and always talked in
right. I remember that. That was such an odd. And Jack Angel was. He was the Liquidator.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, I remember. I think he did that. Well, he did it in my imagination anyway. And we're all still around. We're still here, live and kicking. Katie Lee, E.G. Daly, who I'm going to be speaking with in a few minutes.
Yeah.
Terry McGovern.
Yep,
we're greased and ready to kick butt.
Let's make it happen. All the people behind that show, you know who you are. We know you're listening. Make it happen.
You know who you are.
The guys doing the DuckTales reboot, the first time I visited, Frank Angonis, who was the co-producer and story editor of that, it was the worst kept secret at the studio that the show he really wanted to do was Darkwing Duck. He was really? Like Darkwing Duck for Halloween 3 years in a row. He got out of a school book report by doing a report on a Darkwing episode. Anyway, so we naturally started chatting about Darkwing. And I said, well, what's really the heart of Darkwing is Goslin. And he said, no, Dad, we know. Darkwing Duck is the story of a father and a daughter in a launch pad.
Yeah, that's true.
And I said, okay, you got it. I trust this guy. So,
yeah, that's true.
Did you know that there was actually a banned episode of Darkwing Duck?
I did know that. And
so do you want to? I'll let you take it away to explain what's going on here. What episode is it? Because it's still actually banned on Disney Plus. You
still banned. That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
It is. So I believe it was in the 3rd season, an episode called Hot Spells.
Yeah, the ABC era. Yeah.
Yeah, if my research is correct, it was taken off the air because it kind of conflicted with Christianity, and it featured the devil. Is that correct?
The devil had appeared already.
Descent into Hades.
Yeah,
I think.
Yes. So the devil had appeared on a previous episode, but in this one here, he gets Goslin to perform dark magic, which was very no apparently.
Right.
I couldn't agree more as her father.
And do you remember anything about that, Jim?
Yeah, I do. And it was very interesting at the time when we're recording it, and I was going, oh, okay, well, this will play well in, Amish town or, at the Vatican. And so we'll see what happens here. And, it was a time of innovation and adventure and skating along the edge, skating on thin ice, I guess. And I remember, and I've seen it. Gosh, it's been years, but it looks good. Satan looked good. Very nice red tones. Had beautiful horns.
Played by Marty Ingalls.
Yeah, Marty Ingalls. So and well, see, I think that's part of the problem, because Marty Ingalls was Satan. So, God rest his soul. But yeah, I'd forgotten that, and it was, and the thing of it that it's so silly is that my thought at the time was that it was so silly that you had to work to take offense at it.
You couldn't take it seriously, yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't. Yeah, it's like you can't really. You're taking this offense at this because.
Yeah. And one of the fascinating things to me about, especially about banned episodes and things of that nature, is how it's still banned. And, I've seen a few other cartoons on Disney Plus, and I'm a big fan of, sometimes you see a little disclaimer, like times change, cultures change, especially when we're going back 30, 40 years. And I think it's better, for the culture and for an educational purpose, just to have that little disclaimer, things have changed, attitudes have changed. This is how it originally was, but we're not necessarily endorsing this anymore. But here, see it in its original format, rather than just censoring it and acting like it never existed. That's my personal view.
Yeah. Don't delete history.
Agree.
Just acknowledge history's different to what it is now. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that's a perfect position. I agree 100%.
Oh, the 3D printers?
The 3D printers, yeah. It's like, wait, that sounds like magic to me.
And they make what?
Pretty much. Little gas guns.
Yeah.
As in, suck gas, evil doer.
Yeah. used to be his second thing that he would always say.
And you remember getting the notes?
Yeah, it was like people.
You want to tell them about that?
The mothers kept thinking it was suck ass. People do. It was like, well, that would be an edgier show.
Well, yeah. Well, they I can't remember if they were live, but I feel like ABC. It was ABC. It wasn't like the syndicated people that we worked with, but they were going. Now, by the way, when Jim says, he's getting out the gas gun and he's going to shoot it, what is he saying? Suck gas, evil doer. They go, okay, so that is what he's saying. Okay, do me a favor. Have Jim hit that G.
Exactly,
Got it.
That would be one of those. Take the G off of this word where he says good.
Yes.
Edit it onto here.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, on the other hand, suck ass, evildoers. There, I just wanted to get that out.
Exactly, yeah.
I feel better now. Okay. I thank God all the time. I was there when Disney TV animation was taking off, and so was I. So I mean, a bit of right place, right time, but hopefully I deserve to be cast. But I often think that there will never be a time like that. There never has been, that, to my knowledge, that there were that many people, that many artists and writers and music people and actors all coming together and all just coming up with this fountain of creativity.
That thing I said about I didn't get notes from, Buena Vista, and ABC couldn't give me notes in the first 13. They wanted a second season. All bets were off. That meant, because we had done our 65 plus 13 for ABC, that meant I had to do it the normal way at the networks, meaning pitch them premises, get their approval. And people say, did they kill any ideas you really wanted to do? And I said, we pitched, for every one, we pitched, 3 or 4. So it's not like those things get retained. Like I say, it could be like, okay, no, seriously, Darkwing becomes a sponge, but he has to fight the liquidators. That puts him at a disadvantage. Yeah, and here's the B story of the emotional thing of it, because he thinks he can. He's useless and all that, and Launchpad is using him to clean the liquidator car or whatever.
Well, he had the best villains,
and that's probably more than I would remember of anything else. So it's like, no, everything I wanted to do, we basically did, except in hindsight, we should have done an episode of such and such.
Yeah. Every convention I go to, I swear the fans of Darkwing have the absolute best cosplays. I've seen some of the best costumes, whether it be Darkwing, mixed with Batman. One of my favorite, I saw a Darkwing Mandalorian, and I have a picture of that. We can put this up in the video. They meshed the two, and it's so good. And Darkwing by far, of all your characters, they have the best cosplays. Winnie the Pooh is a lot of, what do they call it? Bounding when they just kind of dress in the colors.
Yeah, where it's the colors, and then they'll have 2 little ears.
Yeah, but Darkwing, I've seen some super elaborate costumes, and every time it's always, to me, the best.
Yeah, Darkwing-alorian was the Mandalorian. That was like, are you kidding me? This is great. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I loved about my career, is that I always said I learned enough of every piece of the process to be dangerous. That I could give notes and they would make sense. But my goal was always to hire people better than I am in all those places. And
that's a good philosophy.
Days. Yeah.
So you got dangerous.
Very much
as in let's.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Yeah. We like to do this thing on Tuned In with Jim Cummings, and we'll do a character line from each of you, and then we'll reverse the roles. So Jim will give you a line of one of his characters, and then you do it. Who would you say is your most popular character?
I mean, Tommy Pickles, probably.
Tommy Pickles, yeah, I would say.
Yeah.
Would you want to do that?
Would I? Hell yeah.
Would I?
I'm here for you guys. Whatever. Let's do it.
Yeah, okay. So, all right, then.
What do I do? I do a line of yours?
Yeah, you do. Well, you do a line of yours, and then I'll.
Okay, got it.
I'll have Darkwing or Pooh.
Yeah, you'll feed each other a line and vice versa.
This. I got to. I'm filming it. I don't care.
Look up a really good one.
I don't care what you say. I'm doing it.
She's looking up an R-rated one. I'm afraid.
So you just want me to do one of my lines?
Sure.
Yeah.
Just a signature line, something that everybody would know. Here we go.
Hold on. You get the right yummy.
Is it on Fabulous?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, a baby's gotta do what a baby's gotta do.
No, a baby's gotta do what a baby's gotta do. Get dangerous. That's ridiculous. I am the terror that flaps in the night.
I am the terror that flaps in the night.
Doesn't sound very terrorish, does it?
Let's do it. I'll do it as Buttercup. Hold on a minute.
Yes.
I'm going to capture that one too because it's too good not to. Okay.
I am the terror.
Hold on. Part 2.
She am the terror.
Dang it. Oh, dang it.
Now
Okay.
we're in Italy. I am the terror that flaps in the night.
I am the terror that flaps in the night.
Oh, I meant to do it as Buttercup. I am the terror that flaps in the night.
Wow, that's pretty good.
That's great.
That's pretty good.
There was one time I took a video camera into the rehearsal because Ginny would do, although she got to the point where we always recorded them, but we did a full rehearsal, just going through the script, everybody in the room, and then, especially this one, this was the 2-parter, Just Us, Justice Ducks. Mm-hmm. So we had all the heroes and all the villains,
That's right.
the key guys in the room, and I got video footage of it, which a friend transferred digitally, and we put it up on the internet. So if you search YouTube, that's like the other than, footage behind the scenes stuff for commercial, you don't get, the advertising stuff like that. You get it, it's always one character, one person doing a voice, and the scene's already animated or whatever. But no, that was a lot of fun because it was all the names of the time. So
gosh, well, it'll never be like that again. I don't think.
Ginny, did you know there's actually a video on our YouTube channel of you in your prime, Darkwing Duck in the studio directing with Jim, with Christine, Dan Castellaneta. There's footage on there. It goes for about 10 minutes of you just in your prime, going for it. Jimmy in his prime with his flowing mullet hair. It's fantastic to watch.
Oh, thank you for bringing that. You see, I never saw that one. I never keep up with that.
Tad filmed it on his home video, and it's on our YouTube channel. You can check it out. We'll chuck the link in the description.
Tad Stones did?
Tad was in it. And he was in it with Hellboy. Remember, he was like
Thaddeus Rockwell.
Yeah, yes.
How did I remember that? That was his name when he was in the show. Thaddeus Rockwell. Yeah. Tad Stones.
I owe a lot to Tad Stones for being very loyal to me. Yeah, very loyal.
And I'll see him every now and then at a convention.
Yeah.
And he just sits there and he draws those Darkwings in 12 seconds.
Yeah.
Tad.
Morgan, I didn't know you could do that.
Now you think that's really groovy because everything that she blows you think is a wonderful thing, okay?
I didn't know you could do that.
Right. And all of a sudden you look in the mirror and you see yourself as the yak.
Looks great. My face.
Okay, he turns to Morgana, covering fast.
I mean, it's different. Can you fix me?
I think so. Because she's not so certain there. She throws her hands out there and does a little magic again, and she says...
Okay, now that's right.
Right, okay, back to the pompadour. Goslin says, thinking of a better idea.
Would you be able to zap him?
Do it again for me.
Morgana, could you put the lights back on?
But I didn't put them out.
Wah, wah, wah. Back to the Darkwing Tower here. Mr. Darkwing is looking around here. Goslin leaps out at the ledge there to see what's the matter.
Cool beans! The whole city's blacked out.
Now you have your fabulous binoculars. You scan the city.
The whole city, eh? My infra-pink ultra-scan specs should locate the problem in a chip.
I see the pudding.
Good girl, okay. Back to the St. Canard Power Company, and we have Megavolt here with his welder's mask, all. And he's just done some very fancy electrical work. And we hear a deep inhale.
I love the smell of voltage in the evening.
Dark, very big, we hear.
I am the terror that flaps in the night.
Morgana standing there with him.
Stand back, you might get some blood on you.
That'll be a fast little interjection when we do it.
Stand back, you might get some blood on you. I am the single career man all women want to date. I am...
And Jimmy, we're just going to add one little thing. You see where it says snap?
The two most dangerous criminals ever together.
Perfect. And Sato, we hear again.
Guess I'll just have to fight using the work, my dear. I'll handle this myself.
Okay, leaps back, okay, and all of a sudden you lower your hands there, and she does a big take. Right, we hear whistles, mooing, cow horns, and all that kind of thing, because megavolt. What's happened? Oh, because when the clutter clears, you're in an electric chair, Jimmy. Echoey crunch. Dark says, freaking out.
Morgana, help! Do something!
You mean that pudding thing Goslin mentioned?
Anything! Zap away, zap, zap, zap!
Perfect. Okay, you wave your hands, mystic circles, as it says here. You can read along with me. However, Darkwing voice.
He looks like pudding.
Okay, Quack's he's gonna top you and lip smack, my favorite thing. Tasty to boot, you laugh out of 47A, Dan. You and Quackerjack are have gales of laughter. Okay, great. Then Dark's gonna say, as the pudding.
Morgana, honey, you need to work on your
They've left the room, by the way, so that can be a little bit more strained. Mark says, flustered.
I know.
Okay. Meg says, okay, now Meg and Quackerjack are into the frame here. That, if you would. I just want to hear you kind of do that megavolt laugh today, Dan. Right. Okay. And you guys are off stage, new scene. Darkwing Tower.
What flavor?
Okay, he's sitting in a puddle of pudding puddle, in front of them and at the table. And Darkwing says at 56.
That's not funny. Morgana, fix me.
Oh, Dark.
Fix me.
Yeah.
Oh, Dark, I'm so sorry. I'll have you back to normal in 2 shakes of a ghoul's rib.
She waves her hands there, and of course, sparks spit from her fingertips, as it says.
Ha! I'm back! It will take more than 2 treacherous transgressors to take the track record of...
Then you see yourself.
Darkwing Yak?
That's what the boss wants, and you know the boss. Kinda now, kinda wow.
And that's going to be real big ad time from 62 on, okay? Because your little head pops out there. There's water on the ground. It's going to play what we're going to do. And they plant the seeds around the police station here. And Bush says at 64, very nervous.
I just hope we don't run into any policemen.
What she's going to do. You guys, policeman number 1 is Scotty.
Yes, ma'am.
He's kind of a big guy.
I was
really
ready for it.
Like a plane. You see thick. Okay. All right. Now, my favorite word in this whole script is plethora of police.
Plethora.
Plethora.
Where is the plethora exactly?
Yeah, I was just saying it either. It's like clear, plethora. I couldn't say doubloon last week either, so you know what I'm saying.
The public getting you down, tired of staring at the dismal gray of the station house walls, then engage in life-threatening combat with bushroot and da-da-da-da, the liquidator.
Alrighty, he slams down onto the huge wave here, and now tapping your foot.
Well, 75 cents, please.
Don't stay for the category. Sorry, we'll do that stuff. Okay, come in.
Okay, he's gone. He's out of there. Stig, you forgot his change.
Oh, you forgot your change.
Okay,
John, littering our house waters with unfunny TV shows.
If you get what you do, this is almost to yourself. You pop up out of the water there, and then you just kind of disgust it here. Okay, and she says at 138, and instead of working girl, if you will say protector. Gosh, you. It's a little thing. It's a little thing that I called Carly silent.
Protector of the seas shall put a stop to this pollution.
Yeah, because she picks up her little trident. It's very, read as it says. Okay, now the conch shell thing. Oh, well. Okay,
Thank you for sharing.
Or I know that, maybe.
I know that.
Thank you for sharing. It's something we've added in our script. Do you like that?
We sort of got this running I know that gag that turns into an ecstatic I know that later, so let's keep it.
No? Oh, you and the Boy Scouts pack up and hit the bricks.
Genuinely touched to think the Darkwing is actually new help here, Giz. He says very grandly.
That's HQ, right? So not all I guess we'll pack up your troops.
Pack up your troops and... Okay, fine,
Right.
sue me.
He gave you as a performance.
All right, come on and thesp.
One
more time.
All right, Gizmo, pack up your troops and...
a different moment inwardly.
Acting!
Data! And...
Darkwing Duck! How considerate of you to offer your assistance!
Me? Help you? I don't think you... Stigmat!
All of a sudden he's holding out a quarter here, out of breath. Gasping.
Mr. Darkwing, you forgot to get your change.
So, big fella, are you here to lend a hand?
There's going to be a running gag with this Hamilton. You think all these thespians are here to help you. So every time it's like, oh, are you here to help?
So, are you here to lend a hand?
No, he's not here to...
Stigma! Going to move very fast.
Morgana.
This is going to be one of those little stage moments, though.
Ding, 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 ding,
Yeah, let's go back. Stigma at 232.
Got to get your...
So, are you here to lend a hand?
No, he's not here.
Stiglet!
Gosling!
What kind of? Dark.
Hi!